Hello, YouTubers. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Well, today I'm going to be talking to you about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle. It seems that Meghan has a beef to pick. And I'm going to talk to you about I heard from Buckingham Palace. And I'm going to give you my experience about what has happened to me. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for being here. First, I want to talk to you about this story with Meghan Markle. It looks like she has picked a fight with Catherine. Or maybe it seems like she's trying to cozy up to her. Well, this is the story, and I want you to listen to this story, and let's just kind of use, like I always say, your third eyeball and try to understand what is actually happening here. Well, Meghan Markle makes this bombshell accusation against Catherine, Princess of Wales. Meghan has launched an explosive accusation against Catherine Middleton, claiming that the Princess of Wales is part of a calculated royal plot to sabotage her career. And all I have to say is, girl, you're doing it all by yourself. You don't need no help. Okay? Why try to blame somebody when you're actually taking care of that part? But anyway, we know Meghan has to be the victim. She always has to cause other people or blame other people to be the reason why she is losing in terms of her career and her wanting to have success. She thinks people are sabotaging her career. Following the poor reception of her Netflix series with Love, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is said to be furious and paranoid because she sees what is happening and she knows it's just not going to pay off. According to Radar Online, Prince Harry's wife believes that Buckingham Palace, particularly Catherine, yes, Catherine, is behind a coordinated media campaign to damage her reputation. Okay, and I'm going to show you why Meghan thinks this way and how warped her sense of reality is. Meghan is beyond furious as an insider. She is certain that there is an organized effort to bring her down, and she's convinced it's coming straight from the palace. Now, she's been telling friends that the royals, particularly Catherine, are using their media connections to quietly undermine her work. In her mind, none of this is happening by chance or by the fact that she don't have no talent. Really, like, blame people rather than taking accountability is what people like Meghan do. They can't seem to own up to their own shortcomings. It's ridiculous. So Netflix, we know, has renewed its deal with Meghan and Harry under new terms, giving the platform the right to reject future projects after their previous $100 million deal has expired. Now, the chances come as Meghan's show failed to reach Netflix's top 10 in the US or the UK, despite heavy promotion, with critics calling it painfully curated. And I think that's exactly right. You look at Meghan and you see how she wants to make everything so pretty and so perfect. But in that curation, in that trying to find perfection, she found a flop, essentially. She found something that just didn't work, and a beige exercise in self-worship. She won't accept that the backlash has anything to do with the show itself. Now, this insider has shared Meghan's reaction. She is convinced that it is the monarchy that is playing a role in planting stories and fueling negative coverage. Exactly what Meghan said about the royal family when she was still in the royal family. So she has no evidence to back this up, but she says it because that's just how she sees it. That's how she wants to see it. She's told Harry that the palace is desperate to see her fail because they can't bear the idea of her thriving on her own. Okay? This story is the most ridiculous, ludicrous, wacky, crazy, weasel-minded stuff I've ever heard. Girl, take responsibility for once for your shortcomings and understand that it's not about outside forces. It's about you not really giving people what they want. Like I've said before, Netflix has always told Meghan what they want to see because they know what will sell, what will do well. And Meghan, nor Harry for that matter, wanted to own up to having a fly on the wall kind of a camera to document their lives, because that I think would have sold really well. I think it would have been a very interesting thing to see them in their regular everyday lives with the children. But they didn't want to do that. And so instead we have Meghan showing up, doing things that people are just not interested in seeing. And now she is blaming people. And the way you have to look at this with your third eyeball is you have to look at Meghan assuming that she would be successful with her connection to the royal family. When her reality is just because you have a connection to the royal family doesn't mean that you're going to find success. It takes more than that. And the other thing is how Catherine has been able to just do what she does and show humility and to be nice and cordial and kind has been like a silent energy that Catherine has been able to wield against Meghan. Because you see people who see how Meghan has treated her family, how she has treated her husband's family. They see that in a big contrast to how Catherine is. And people want to be aligned with the sweet, nice Catherine, who essentially gets along with everybody, who doesn't have controversies with her family. She gets along with her husband's family. And Catherine was just able to silently outshine Meghan by just being who she is. And Meghan sees it as an attack because she doesn't want to see that her actions are the reason. Her actions are the consequences that she is now seeing with the flop of her show because of how she has showed up in the world around things of her private life, like her father and, the way she's treated her staff and how she has got a reputation for not being a very nice person has essentially followed over into her professional life, and people just didn't want to support something that she wanted to look pretty when all you could really see and notice was how ugly her personal life has been. And that essentially is how Catherine has been able to strong arm Meghan just by being a good person and not really feeding into anything that Meghan did to attack Catherine and the royal family. It's brilliant. It's almost like that whole thing around never complain, never explain. It worked. And it continues to work. And essentially the royal family was what has allowed Meghan to hang herself with her own initiatives. Like she went out, had the freedom to do all these things, and she sabotaged herself. That's what happened. But on the other hand of all of this, I wanted to talk to you about my most recent conversation with Buckingham Palace. I have reached out, maybe some of you know this because I did post on X, but I had a very, very bad experience with the royal family. Now with that, I must also say that I had a good experience prior, like several months ago, when I reached out on behalf of my charity and the work of the King, on the work of Prince William, and wanting to see how there's a way to find some support around the work that is happening in the States that aligns with the work of William and Catherine. I won't go into all the details, but essentially, of course, I got a letter, a very nice, cordial letter that said, thank you for reaching out, but this is not something that they are in a position to do, which I figured that would happen, but it doesn't hurt to ask, right? And they were polite, and I was very appreciative. Although I got a no, I was happy with the response and how I was treated. They acknowledged my letter. They acknowledged me and the work that I do, and they politely declined. But this most recent outreach that I had, which was not via letter like I did previously, it was by telephone. And I'm trying to get a press pass so that I can go to the Earthshot Prize Awards in Brazil, as I went to the one that they had in 2022 in Boston. However, through all of my attempts, writing emails, making phone calls, I was met with no response to any of my emails after sending several emails requesting what can I do to apply for a press pass. We know that most recently the White House has also given YouTubers access to press conferences for the White House because they're acknowledging social media as a valid platform for bringing the news to people. And I think when I did my whole Boston report, it was something that was bringing accurate coverage, my opinion, to the people that follow me about my experience with the Earthshot Prize Awards in 2022. And so I addressed all this in a letter, very lengthy, detailed, professional email letter, and I got no response. Made a phone call. And that's where it all went downhill. That's where it was like, okay, my experiences that I had with the royal family, with Prince William's office, not William and Catherine, but their offices, is now rotten. Because these people were so rude to me, did not want me to speak to anybody about even the press pass, would not even get me to the right people. I never once spoke to anyone that could give me legitimate information about getting a press pass. I was transferred, I was hung up on, I was told by the one lady that I spoke to when I said, I have a platform of people that follow the royal family, I'm a YouTuber, and the lady, she stopped me and she said, well, the royals, they, William and Catherine, they don't care about social media influencers. That's what she told me. She literally told me that. And every time I would call, they would be very short with me on the phone and hung up on me. I got hung up on 3 times calling the offices of William and Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales. I was treated horribly. I'm not calling and asking to be friends with Catherine and tell her to meet me for tea. Okay? I'm not calling and asking William to sign my t-shirt for me or sign something to give it to me. I want a memento. I feel like I'm his friend. Like, I'm not doing something crazy and out of line. I'm simply addressing his office in a very professional manner. And I was met with very unprofessional people who hung up the phone on me, who spoke to me in a very rude, nasty, short way, did not want to help me. And I've given no reason to treat me like this. I'm being very standard in my approach and request. But I was met with not kind people. And they ignored me. They've ignored my emails, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. But all I want to say is this is not a reflection on William and Catherine, but it is a reflection on their offices of people that work for them, which they probably more than likely would not approve of. Because we know how William and Catherine did not approve of how Meghan treated her staff. So I can't imagine that they would approve of their staff speaking this way. And that is why I'm doing this video, just as an outreach to hone in your staff and to make sure that they don't address people in such a nasty way. Because, my friends, I have recorded one of the phone calls and I have proof. But because of legal reasons, I can't air it. But I just might be able to do it on my private members page, which I'm waiting for the green light to do. So those of you who are my members will be able to hear the phone call. And with that, I never heard back from Buckingham Palace via my email, but I did over the phone. And let me just say, it was very shocking to be treated in that way. What can you do but just voice your opinion and hope that maybe next year it might be a different story for me going to the Earthshot Prize Awards, because I really do like it. I think it's a great initiative by William. All righty, everyone. Otis says it's time to go. So I will see you all in my next video.